Hello, everybody. This is Miss Kopak. We are going to read Chapter 8 in 26 Fairmount Avenue. In the last chapter, Tommy's dad said that they would be moving into their new house, 26 Fairmount Avenue, after New Year's. So, you're going to need your book and your packet. And if you need to pause the video at any time, just hit the pause button. A little bit of background knowledge for you. In this chapter, you're going to see the word authentic. If something is authentic, it is original, it is real. So it's not fake, it's not a copy, it is the real thing. You're also going to see the word icebox. Iceboxes were very common for people to have, like when Tommy was a little boy in the 1930s. So back then, people didn't have refrigerators in their home. They were very expensive, so most people didn't have them. Instead, they would have an ice box, and you could kind of think of it as a cold cabinet or a cold closet. And you would have a big ice block that you put inside of it to help keep those foods cold. And then when the ice melted, you would have to put a new ice block in. So ice boxes were what people used to keep their food cold before refrigerators became popular. You're also going to read about Times Square and New Year's Eve. So Times Square is a place in New York City. It is full of tall buildings and flashy signs like you see in this picture. And on New Year's Eve, they have a big party there to celebrate the new year. And they celebrate by dropping a crystal ball on top of one of the buildings. So you can see the crystal ball in these pictures. It lowers down and people count down to the new year. So this has been going on every year for many years. On New Year's Eve, you can actually watch this on television. But back when Tommy was a little boy, you wouldn't have been able to watch this on television because, again, people didn't have TVs in their homes. So instead, you would listen to it on the radio. All right, go ahead and open up to Chapter 8. It's page 46, and you can read along with me. Right after New Year's Eve. But first, we would have our last Christmas on Columbus Avenue. Dad put up the Santa Claus fireplace for the last time. It was made of cardboard. 26 Fairmount Avenue had a real fireplace. Mom put the cotton snow on top of the Santa Claus fireplace and set up the Christmas village. We had a manger scene too. Next year, Mom said, we'll get a brand new manger scene with all new figures for our brand new house. Now we're on page 47. On Christmas Eve, the neighbors came by for a party. Mrs. Crane was crying a little. I'll miss you all next Christmas Eve here on Columbus Avenue, she sniffed. My dad gave her a hug. Carol Crane said she'd miss me too. Mom said, well, you can just all come up the hill to 26 Fairmount Avenue. It was a great Christmas. Santa brought me an Uncle Wiggily game to go with my Uncle Wiggily books. I got a harmonica and a Jeep doll. The Jeep was an animal from the Popeye comics. Buddy got a catcher's mitt and a softball. We got lots of other things too. Carol Crane got an authentic Shirley Temple doll. It was so big and looked so real, I expected it to sing and dance. Now we're on page 48. On Christmas Day, after church, we went to Tom and Nana's house for Christmas dinner. Uncle Charles was there too, as well as his best friend Mickey Lynch. We didn't call him Mister. We had turkey and dressing and gravy. Well, Timothy, me bucko, that's what Tom always called me. It won't be long before you're in that nice new house. I'll bet you're excited, Tom said. Excited? Tom was right. On New Year's Eve, my mom and dad got all dressed up like movie stars. Mom had on a long black evening gown with long gloves and silver shoes. Dad wore a tuxedo with a bow tie. They were going to the Wallingford Elks Club New Year's Eve dance with Uncle Charles and his girlfriend Viva. Mr. and Mrs. Crane were going to go too. Carol was going to stay with Buddy and me. Althea Morin came down from upstairs to take care of us. We were going to have our own New Year's Eve party. Mom left us brownies and Cokes in the icebox. Mr. and Mrs. Crane gave us party hats and noisemakers to use at midnight. Now we're on page 50. Gee, Buddy said, midnight sure takes a long time coming. I'm going to take a nap after I drink a Coke and eat some brownies. Carol, Althea, and I played my new Uncle Wiggily game. We listened to the radio. The doorbell rang, and it was Mr. and Mrs. Morin, Althea's parents, from upstairs. They had a bowl of hot popcorn and some ice cream. To help celebrate, Mrs. Morin said. Mr. Morin turned the radio to a program from a fancy nightclub in New York City. And now, the radio announcer said, for our entertainment, singing his latest hit, the lilting voice of everyone's favorite Irish tenor, Morton Downey. Morton Downey was my mom's first cousin. I woke Buddy up. Cousin Morton is singing on the radio, I said. So what, Buddy said. Let me sleep. You'll miss New Year's, I said. I don't care, he said. There's ice cream. Okay, said Buddy, I'll get up. We put on our party hats, drank Cokes, and ate popcorn and ice cream. The radio announcer said, and now to Times Square. Listen to the crowd, folks. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 1940! We blew our noisemakers and shouted, Happy New Year! In just a few more days. Do you know what's going to happen in a few days? Go ahead and get your packet and open it up to the Chapter 8 questions. Here are the questions that you will need to answer today. Number 1, how does Tommy convince Buddy to get up out of bed and celebrate? A, he tells him he will miss New Year's if he doesn't get up. B, he tells him Cousin Morton is on the radio. C, he tells him there is hot popcorn and cold Coke. D, he tells him there is ice cream. Number 2, from this line, I'll miss you all next Christmas Eve here on Columbus Avenue. The reader can tell that Mrs. Crane, A, wants the DePaulas to move to a new house. B, cares about the DePaulas. C, doesn't know the DePaulas very well. Or D, thinks it's taken too long to build the DePaulas house. Number 3, why was the DePaulas fireplace made out of cardboard? A, their house didn't have a real fireplace. B, they liked cardboard fireplaces best. C, cardboard fireplaces are safer than real ones. Or D, it was their last year on Columbus Avenue. And your last question, what event happens right before Tommy goes to wake up Buddy? A, Buddy decided to wake up and have ice cream. B, Tommy's parents went to a New Year's Eve party. C, Cousin Morton Downey comes on the radio. Or D, the volume of the radio is too loud. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next video when we read the final chapter, Chapter 9. Toodaloo, kangaroos. See you soon, raccoons.